Good afternoon to you at home, you spectators, you to a muddy and very cold DURBELL sports field where DURBELL plays host to IKEYS all the way from the Green Mile. My name is Time, but I'm not alone here today. I'm joined by the legendary Western Province Super League A legend, the man himself, Mr. Dwayne Heath. So Heath, how are you feeling?
It's pretty cold, Setu, as you said, but I think the rugby is going to be pretty hot this afternoon, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you're saying that the rugby is going to be pretty hot. I'm hoping that right behind me you can hear the sound is electric. The fans are buzzing and coming in their numbers, defying the odds of this day today. Very wet underfoot, but I'm sure the boys will be hoping to make sure they crack us some fire. Just tell us some quickly, what are we expecting here today?
Setu, the league is all set up. We've got one round to go. This is the final round of the league today. We've got 6 teams within 4 points of each other at the top of the league. We've got 3 teams on top with the same amount of low points, but with points difference separating them. We've got Villages at the top. We've got UCT and DURBELL who are playing here at 2 and 3. We've got Hamilton's at 4. We've got Helderberg at 5. Milderson at 6. All within 4 points of each other. All could finish top. And then we've got Marty's who are out of the top 6 at 8th position, but they've got a game in hand and they're playing next Wednesday, and they could theoretically finish top as well. So it's crazy, it's competitive, and I think that's what you want out of club rugby. Nobody knows when they're running onto the field who's going to end up winning that game.
Oh, that's the question, who's going to end up winning that game? But you're going to find out in a few moments, Simon. But just chat quickly, as much as the history is there between the two teams. But speaking of history, I do understand that back in your days you played full black. Tell us now, were you similar to that great McCallum?
Just very much worse and much slower, but it was lovely. It was great memories. We were speaking before we came on. This field holds great memories for me. It was the very last match I ever played was on this very field, and I think, you know, as time goes on, it's all about the scores. You know, you don't remember the scores, but you remember the people that you played with, and you remember the touring and the memories. And I think that's what we're busy creating here, and that's what are going to be created later on this afternoon as well.
Oh, definitely. And as he says right now, they're doing it for the community, coming out here in numbers, coming to support their men in muscle, their soldiers, hoping that they can pip and get to the top of the table, leading up to the playoffs and knockout rounds after. But now, just tell us quickly, how does club rugby help the community out here in DURBELL?
Well, I think, you know, we've got a couple of clubs around the area, and I think that it's the same for every community in South Africa, whether it's an urban community, a big city, whether it's out here in the suburbs, whether it's in the townships or small towns. I think the clubs are increasingly, the glue that holds the community together in many places, especially places that are ravaged by crime and gangsterism, drugs, things like that. A lot of the clubs in the Western and Eastern Cape especially are a haven for young kids who otherwise would be doing nothing, or, you know, would be on the street getting up to, you know, things that they wouldn't want to be getting up to. And so club rugby has always played that role, and I think as we move further into this century, I think it's going to play an even more increasingly important role in that I think clubs will be doubling up as soup kitchens, as places of education, just generally a place where young men and women can go to feel safe and to exercise and to, you know, get their frustrations out on the field, and also to build lifelong camaraderie, really.
Yeah, definitely, that's very well said. And I mean, of course, rugby does build very strong relationships, does build very strong connections as well. Now, also, I'm sure this is also very important, what's happening here today with the Gold Cup coming back to the shores after 4 years in a hiatus, but it comes back this month. Tell us what that means for the Western Province in general.
Well, Sergio, I think it's a reflection of the fact that club rugby is becoming increasingly prominent on the national radar. Increasingly, sponsors are looking at club rugby as a means of getting their message out and reaching consumers. I think increasingly we're seeing investment into club rugby from smaller companies, but increasingly bigger ones as well. And I think it's just a general trend. I think especially after COVID, advertisers, sponsors, and the communities in general just want to be able to return to a safe place like Durbanville here today, where you can come watch good rugby for 20 Rand. You've got a bar with cheap drinks. You've got a restaurant. The kids are running running around playing, and I think that's exactly what people want these days. And I think that plays right into club rugby's hands. And the game's never been safer. The game's never been more diverse. And it's just a wonderful setting here. And what we're doing here today is being replicated a couple of hundred times around the country. I think there's something like 500 games kicking off as we speak.
And just tell us quickly about your history with Gold Cup.
Oh, well, I created the Gold Cup in 2013, and that ran till 2019. And, of course, then COVID came and scuppered all the plans. But it's great news that club rugby has survived a world war, 2 world wars, recessions, apartheid, you name it. And it's incredible the tenacity of the club system, of club players, administrators. Nothing gets them down. They survive anything. And COVID, people feared the worst when it came to COVID. And here we are again, 2 years out of that. The vibrancy is back. The people are back. And it just seems like nothing gets club rugby down.
Yeah, and nothing gets club rugby done. Well, the fire is burning. The meat is on the grill. But myself and Mr. Heath have to just make sure the meat is ready for the main event. DURBELL up against IKEYS, the battle of the top spot. Coach Time out.
Hello everybody and welcome. It is Durbanville Sports Ground in the Mother City on a grey gloomy day with a slightly trodden pitch which plays the backdrop to today's match. It is the final round of league action in the Western Province Super League, and that's the second team of DURBELL, the home side today, just forming that guard of honour. In a couple of minutes time it will be the DURBELL first team. Fellow commentator for the day, Lawrence Sepaka, will be running out here, and some fantastic talent there. Look out in particular for Vian Schmidt. You'll love him. A prop who, of course, has played Falca Rugby, Western Province Academy Rugby, and also in the jersey of UWC. And then Enzo Futi, a man who is known as the Bullet out at the back there, a man with plenty of pace, but there's so much talent in this side as well. And that's how the DURBELL team will line up today. And you just see in the background there that UCT IKEYS Tigers team coming out here. And talk about talent, plenty of experience from Varsity Cup as well in this 15 today.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Udo. And what an exciting moment, Jack, we have. And obviously the weather needs to be lit up. Clearly it doesn't want to glow for us. We'll make it glow. And certainly how it looks, the youngsters will want to run from coast to coast. Looking at that team as well as a bunch of youngsters. I mean, we were talking of air that the average age here, literally the co-captain, not a co-captain, the co-coach of Strauss literally is like succeeding some kids there with a 10 or 12 years or so. That's how young they are.
And if he runs onto the field today, he'll be the oldest man in the park for the IKEYS Tigers by about 11 years at 36 years of age. I'm looking forward to number 15, Ntokoza Makaza, a man who at the age of 10 years old was the team mascot for the Sharks, ran them out in the Currie Cup final against Western Province. And 11 years later, here he is playing his part in this side running out here, the DURBELL side, who were finalists in the Super League in the Western Cape a year ago. And they're hoping to do the same. Who would have thought the script could not have been written any better? It's number 2 IKEY Tigers against number 3 DURBELL, and both still have an opportunity to finish top of the table.
No, absolutely. I mean, we talked about the team being so close to each other at this point in time that anyone can actually get that point. So very percentage rugby is going to be very important here before the general Ulrich Wall takes us away. Ulrich was testing the grass, how soft it is at the moment, and just to make sure he gets the right percentage into it as well, give it enough height, because I think the pack here with the heavyweights is going to have an advantage, looking how green and soft and plush that pitch is at the moment. I suppose it's like this for most of the field, so you have to play on the right side of the field to get it right with him.
19-year-old Ulrich Wall, a man who's part of the a very impressive 2023 intake of Western Province players. He gets matters underway. It's straight into the hands of Gertwald Klefier, who will take play up to close to the halfway line with that kick. So perhaps just a little bit too deep for his players to run down, but it gives us an opportunity. When the conditions are like this, how are you as coach setting up your side? What are you looking to do in conditions like this?
You definitely don't want to play in your own half, because a lot of mistakes in the weather like this can happen. It's not like it's wet as such, but the surface can actually make that ball a bit dewy, a bit muddy, can be mixed, and then obviously a lot of things can go wrong when the surface is wet.
Former Lions under-19 player MC De Jong gets matters going there with a good throw. Apologies to Troy Fisher. And now IKEY Tigers have an opportunity here. They'll get going through Joshua Miller. And now the big men team around. It's straight into the hands there of Val, who skips one, and then the big boys come through. But have they lost this going forward? Let's see what the referee says. The ball there looks like Captain Mika Schubert. It's been stripped away from them. So counter-attack here now by DURBELL, who almost always played very tactically through the boot of their fly of Arnoldus Loopsje. Be surprised if there's anything different today. Good little barge through there by Daniel Boetis. Now Loopsje knocks off one man. He goes down in the contact, makes it available. That's good work. Lefleur with an opportunity to go left or right. Which way does he go? Goes out on the far side of the field there. Good defense by Alizwa Ngeta. Still DURBELL, you're looking for a good carry. There's Janras van der Linde. Lefleur again lets his big man Christy van Niekerk go. This is good retention here from DURBELL from the home side.
They need to make sure, because they're still in their own half. Any mistake here, it's a kickable offense. At this point in time, IKEYs are trying to get hold of that ball, but the cleaning is actually on point. Forwards are playing close. It's very smart for Lefleur not to run away from them, because remember, the field is heavy. No one is ready to play that, and unfortunately, as I was saying, that was a mistake UCT was trying to get in their favor so they can get that 3 points. But well done on the big boys, DURBELL, and making sure they keep their composure and make sure get himself out of their half, because that's a danger zone for any coach at this point in time.
Very good touch finder there, takes us up to the 22. DURBELL will have very good position, sustain pressure there, and have a look at the meters gained here from that penalty. It's so difficult at the pick down not to fall foul, because conditions aren't solid underfoot. You can't always roll away that you naturally would want to. It can be a muddy mess.
No, listen, you talk about muddy mess, is going to be even stickier when it comes to scrumming time, because that footwork needs to be on point, as UCT has decided to steal that ball. A nice contesting from them. Counter-attack, champagne rugby speed.
Lovely stuff, yeah, beautiful break.
Oh!
Back. Tokoza Makaza that we spoke about with that tackle eventually on him. Steps on the inside now, looking to get away. Have a look at the return of meters here by the IKEY Tigers. Good defense in the middle of the park by DURBELL, but can they retain the ball? Yeah, it's recycled nicely out through Gertwald Lefleur. Big carry here by the big man. Meta takes it up to the 22. Still available there to Muller, and now in the hands of the tricky fly off, who loads off there. Ulrich Wall loads off to Ian Kloosman. They keep going. Skip pass on the outside. There's space here. Coming back onto the inside is Willem van der Walt. Nike's player to the far side now, in the hands there of Jason McLeod-Smith. Penalty the other way. The IKEY Tigers are in striking distance here.
The IT Tiger looking very dangerous. They're probing the breaking lines at will, but the cover defense comes in just in the nick of time. At this point in time, just that technicality we're talking about is going to be a tricky situation, controlling your feet. I've seen a couple of flopping over. The ref has let go of you, but I think he didn't let go of everything. I think IKEYS also, for majority of the time before the 22, he was playing at advantage. I think that was a new one that he opted to go with. Unfortunately, the DURBELL getting it wrong at that rack time. And obviously, when you get fatigued as well, it's very difficult to hold your anchor when the ground is giving in underneath. And when you're talking about that man, Ntokozo Makaza, he's very slippery. I think that Damien goal was not the best option. It could have been a try if that ball was let go, because he had a winger free at the end. But like I said, lesson learned, is probably going to make sure he gets the 3 here. He's in a half. Anything is very important. When you get to the half, 3-5 for 7, then you've actually had a successful half on the other side of the field.
Makaza looking for the 3-pointer. Let's see what the flags do. It's raised, and it's the away side, the IKEYS, who draw first blood via a 3-pointer. So interested to see just where the kicking duties will go, because Ulrich Brown is certainly a very seasoned foot, but it was the fullback, Ntokozo Makaza, former Northwood boy, who stepped up for the responsibilities. We'll see if the kick comes from the other side of the field, and perhaps there will be alternating of kicks, but DURBELL get it underway. Loubser with the kick, taken nicely there by Jason McLeod-Smith. IKEYS have they given themselves a nice little platform to go with now. Oh, caught in possession. It was just a little bit flat-footed as they were trying to carry that ball out of their own 22. Now it's the big Berlin lock again. Schubert. Bit of a renaissance man, the captain of UCT, old Weinberg Boys High School student. Studies humanities and German, of all things. Not quite sure what he's going to do with that degree, but he has said on his LinkedIn page that he just wants to be a good human being.
Or own a BMW.
Well, let's see if he can be a good human being by getting to the finals of the Super League. And now just a little bit messy. High fives, and the Tigers get it going quickly. IKEYS, their lovely ball. Beautiful run on there by the very big Luca De Leo. Good defense there from MC De Jong, but it's still the IKEYS Tigers. Look how flat that defensive line is. It's going to be difficult to keep retention of the ball, especially in these conditions, but the Tigers are doing well. They're just a little bit flat-footed there. We'll try and play it out wide. Just have a look at how little space there is. Schubert, the captain, trying to exploit it there. Look at how quick this line comes up. That's a little bit high and stripped away. See what the referee says. The whistle will be blown now. Yeah, penalty there. Let's just have a look at the signal. So I think that man right there, Vian Schmidt, may have been guilty of a little bit of a high tackle.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think he launched at him, unfortunately, against a short guy. See what happened. I think they ever called that one for him.
There's a bit of a liberation now between the touch judge and the referee. Let's have a look at this again now.
He lined him up properly. Unfortunately, got his timing wrong because he was slightly high. He didn't drop a shoulder and a hips, and obviously tackling someone who's dropping, that's the dangers you actually hear.
Was there a mitigating factor there with the player dropping?
There was a slight mitigation. I mean, if you look at the full height, he wasn't tackled by someone tall. I mean, and that was a simple high tackle because it was not malicious. It was high, but it was still dangerous, but not enough for a yellow card, for instance.
Youngest man in the park, Val, Ulrich Val, to get his side. Very good meters up the field, and unfortunately, that touch has been missed. It's been returned by Loubser, and is this going to go out? Just about. It was there, a foot on the whitewash. Either way, it was spilled forward, but the touch judge says there was a foot just in front of that gazebo that we see on the whitewash.
I think he should have chosen a different color shoes. The ref might have messed it if it was white boots. Orange was an evident as broad daylight there. Touching that whitewash, and obviously opportunity given, and actually wasted because they didn't kick it out. The ball got it back, and now even giving possession away to DURBELL.
A little bit lucky there, but MC De Jong found his man eventually. Now, big carry there by Christy van Niekerk, who bumps off a player. Keeps DURBELL going. Looking to get it out wide. Tricky, and lost forward there. You're going to be so precise with your passes here, and you want your support to be close by when it's muddy, wet conditions.
absolutely. But I think as well, that was a blind spot. Because remember, the ball was supposed to be the person in front of him, but it dropped, missed the intended recipient, and by the time he got him, he had a bit of a hopscotch, and unfortunately unable to control the hopscotch, the right winger, Enzo Foyki there. So certainly get himself in all sorts of trouble. Obviously, we're lucky as well not to give away a penalty, because the ref allowed the rug to take place, but there were some hands that were trying to smack the ball out of the scrum half's hands, which you're not allowed to do. But let's look how this scrum is going to actually hold up. And it's going to be very tricky as well. A couple of big men on the right-hand side. I mean, experienced campaigners, and certainly they'll be more comfortable in this department instead of running around the field all day. But first things first, they need to get their engines in. Oh! A huge hinge. It's a huge hinge, but I think advantage as well needs to go to the tight end. He's short. He's trying to survive the big man, Alizwa. who's basically, he's not going to go toe-to-toe with his opposite Damba. William Smith, who's probably like about 5 centimeters taller, and obviously big man, so you want to make sure you force him to come to your level, which I think he's going to struggle to do. So the ref is going to have a closer look to him, but in order for him to reward Mqeta needs to stay on his feet. So he mustn't launch himself and lose his footing. He must actually drop the suspension, and that's it. I think he might get a penalty. Exactly that. Remorda is forcing now his opposite number to hinge, because he's now very tall. He can't get underneath him. He needs to work very hard, and then he's going to have a sore neck after tonight.
I love being reunited with you. Anticipated, spotted, and diagnosed. The Ikey's have another penalty.
Oh.
And it's, don't worry about
the
that.
ball on the other side.
That is the field.
Oh,
we'll
my
get them
goodness.
up to, what is that, the 22?
Just in between the two. Between the 10 and the 22.
To launch from here. On a day like this, we'll see the rolling maul attempted here.
I think Ikey's are not interested, because by the look of things, they want to keep a ball in hand.
Good throw. Well done. Good work there by Troy Fisher. Well, they do attempt it, but have a look at the counter shove here by DURBELL, and now they get it going.
It's a heavy tank in front of them, but I think the body height is very important. The lower you are, doesn't matter how big the person in front of you, you're going to get advantage. Oh, smash and grab.
Where did Jan Raspandelinde come from? He has stripped that away in a sea of bodies and given DURBELL an opportunity to play out of their defense. It's the inside center, Roderick Moses there, that was caught in possession. And now 2-on-1 here. Good work by Loubser to ward off the attention there of Jason McLeod-Smith. But it's been stripped away, unfortunately. So poor work here by DURBELL. Always tricky when you're trying to run your way out of trouble. In the hands there of William van der Walt. He stopped short, and now it's scrum here. That one's gone forward.
Well, I must say the advantage is very short. Remember, no, it was a quick tap, so there's no advantage whatsoever there. I think, like I said, Ikey's are not very patient. They realize that they're so close. Their drive was almost successful at that point. They needed to repeat that again and go again. But like I said, they want to run. They were trying to run DURBELL off their feet at this point in time. But they're not getting anywhere very fast, because their forwards are also been fatigued by this heavy grass. It's tiring them as well, so they need to be smart, conserve the energy of their forwards if they want to run them off their feet. Just wait for the right timing.
Tell you what, the scrum off from UCT, Joshua Miller, looks like he's hadn't had any contact in the game. It's the shirt, his jersey on the park thus far.
That's how a scrum half should be looking like. If you talk about service providing.
But it will be put in by Lafleur, and have a look at the scrum turning now. They need to get it out at the back, and they do. Pressure kick here for Arnoldus Loubser, and he finds touch. So a little bit of relief there. I just wonder, with the conditions the way that they are, we've seen both teams with a liking to run their way out of defensive positions, run their way out of trouble. Good idea, bad idea?
No, I think that idea can only work with quick taps. Remember, with a quick tap, we're trying to achieve two things. Force that extra 10 meters, or try to catch a defense that's not being set yet. At this point in time, I think Ikey's are too early, are too keen. The defense is still fresh. Maybe second half they'll get those opportunities going. But let's see with the first phase.
3 out of 3 for Troy Fisher, former Rondebosch Boys high school player. And now look around the neck there almost of Alice van Reta. Right up the back there. See what these conditions are doing to these players. It's going to be very tough to get through the 80 minutes here. Tough trying conditions. Scrapped it. So this mess of bodies in front of you will have to reorganize and go at one another again in a slightly more formalized fashion.
Well, considering how the previous scrum went for IKEYS, was actually very impressive. That defense they put on the opposite number on the final landed was immense. Actually got a right ideal shoulder, but I think unfortunately not enough pressure from Joshua Muller there to put his opposite number under pressure. When it's turned like that, your offside line almost disappears because you're keeping that halfway line. The scrum has moved, you haven't moved. So he needs to really capitalize on that. They gave him a perfect shoulder. But talking about perfect shoulders now, I think it's going to be the same of the same until Schmidt sort out his suspension and maybe get his footing right as well. Just actually close and lift his opposite number early. But then if you let him into that gap, it gets difficult because now he walks with you as well. You can't keep up with the pressure. Another advantage. I think this little tight head is very smart. Alizam Gata is really playing to his advantage here. He's actually playing to the tee. Mr. Schmidt will need to find another technique to actually try to solve himself. It's going to be a long day of this.
Penalty again here for IKEYS. Ulrich Val stands with ball in hand. He's going to look for the near side touchline, which he gets in deep. A major talking point, of course, before the game was we had a look at the statistics. You look at the pack on the field for DURBELL. You look at the substitutes coming up a little bit later. Not a single player weighs in less than 100 and 304 kilograms there. But as you always say, technique trumps sheer weight.
Exactly my point. Is basically having an Amarok with no FSI capabilities there. Basically, that's all I need is a technique operating as a unit. I mean, you can see they're doing it individually, but IKEYS has actually got it right to work as a team. They actually feed off of the energy of the other front rowers. Let's see this time if they're going to get the drive right, because the drive has been stopped quite well. I must say the one thing DURBELL has done well is not to give them too much of this, but they're doing their best and breaking off. But then from there, you need to make sure you look after your ball in the rounds.
It's the last time we've been this close to the action. Just to have a look at how close we are. The final round of Western Province Super League action. It's team number 2 in the form of the UCT IKEYS up against team number 3, DURBELL. Amalgamation, of course, of Durbanville and Bellville all the way back in 2002. We were finalists a year ago, eventually losing 25-15. The defending champions, False Bay, who have no chance of finishing in the top 6. This year, 8 teams still have an opportunity to get into those playoff positions. Look where play has been taken to. Options here for IKEYS once more. It's been a good passage of play for them.
Well, we were wondering who's going to be ideal kicker for today. We was like, maybe it's from the right-hand side, it's going to be the fullback. But it seems like now it's on the left-hand side, similar position. The kicker remains the same. So clearly, maybe the long ranges are going to be going to the Ulrich Val at the moment. But for the short ones, the fullback is happy to take control because of Makaza there and certainly taking his time and playing smart rugby. They are taking their chances. They are driving, they are running. But an opportunity being given to take points, they certainly don't think twice about it. I mean, anyone who's got the ball, not even in their right mind, if it's not a kickable one, they'll certainly just tap and go. But they don't take chances in their 22.
Easy as you like there. Taking the score to 6 points now, so IKEYS taking that pressure, sustained it, and they've stretched the lead. 6 unanswered points in this first half. We've had about 20 odd minutes of play. And for all the enterprising rugby that DURBELL has played on their home ground today, they certainly have remained under pressure. Loubser gets them going again. Cloud Smith jumps and that's gone forward. So rather fortunate there for DURBELL. Now they find themselves in a good position. Can they return the pressure here? But from this facet of play, from what we've seen, it's going to be difficult.
No, looking like I said, you said a heavy pack, but they don't have a very good technique at this point in time. IKEYS are getting underneath them and actually putting the opposite number of Vanderlanders and under immense pressure from Philip Masango there, who's really got his number by all means possible. All they need to make sure to take the ball away as soon as possible is a little scrum of the Fleur is to get a channel 1 And on the run, the channel run is going to meet him halfway, pick the ball and actually scoop it immediately because the pressure is going to come. And obviously the big fella said, hey, it's going to be a long day for the big fella.
Houston, we have problems. We have problems.
With the
That front
Schmidt.
row is struggling here. And I'm sure the orders here to Lafleur by Lopesha is just get it out as quickly as you can, unless the penalty has been awarded.
And remember that Schmidt can't go too low there because he needs to open up the channel one for that ball to go. Secondly as well, I mean, they don't have a very tall hooker and De Jong, but for me to understand how they're not getting him that whole front row a bit inches lower. I'm sure at practice when coach is watching, they're able to do so. Just get a bit lower. Wait for the hit to come on them because remember if they chase, it means they have to move their footwork as well. That maybe throws them off the mark so that they don't have that stability. This is a better setting. I think now they should be just having the stability. I think the tight end needs to just anchor long enough for that ball to come in. And the left shoulder is, but the ball is clean.
Right, the crash ball has gone there to, looks like Ethan Conrad. Here now to the far side. It's through the hands there of George Olivier. And look at the IKEYS Tigers coming through there. Good ball protection eventually. Lafleur will have another opportunity now. So quick also in defense to come up there are UCT. They'll have retained it. Going a little bit deeper now. Oh, that's a lovely storming run there by Stoffberg. Took some stopping. Eventually was. Again in the hands of George Olivier. Here takes the break himself. It's through the hands though of 8th man Peter Smith. Place to drop that one, but it did go backward. The referee's going to go back to the original infringement. Yeah, they were offside and playing advantage there. Now here's an opportunity to go for poles and bring the scoreline to within 3 points. But what will DURBELL do in the hands here of Leeuwner van der Merwe? Born in Pretoria and then made his way down to Cape Town. Starting to work with the two captains now. Interesting how these conversations will take place. What could that be about? Not too sure.
Something happened in Iraq, someone is not happy about it. But sometimes, you know, what happens in the dark, you need to sort out in the dark. Because we didn't see anything happening, only see his Haji Baji in the hand right in front of the ref. And I don't think he's going to be setting a tone that he's going to be tolerated. So there's a possibility anyone else who look like he's doing something wrong in the next move might be penalized. Just mere fact you looking like you've done something wrong. And then the first opportunity that DURBELL are getting now, just in the middle of the 22, to get 3 points, just chopped down on that. This is a day of fullbacks kicking today. The other side is a Jordan. The man they call Mr. Jordan.
Jordan, a man who plied his trade for Old Mission Beach Athletic Club in San Diego in the US of A at one stage. And a look at the club's credentials, I think it's considerably harder the level of rugby here than there. Ex-Brackenfell High School pupil, matriculated in 2018. 22-year-old has an opportunity to put 3 on the board, but it looks like he's pulled it, but it's come back very nicely. So DURBELL break the duck. They're in the game. It's a 3-point game now.
I mean, looks like it's play of rugby at the moment, Udo, by the look of things. No one is taking advantage, or maybe looking for those things as easy opportunities here. They need to earn their right to have the bragging rights of staying in the top 6 here. It's going to be rough. Remember, other teams below them are really chasing with those scores as well.
Let me just give you that context again as we see DURBELL receive here. It is the final week of round action. All but Marties and UWC will be done with the league campaign for the season. Only the top 6 teams will qualify for the playoffs, in which team 1 and 2 will have a bye until the semi-finals, with team 3 playing 6 and 4 playing 5. And at the moment, Millies are sitting in 6th position, but they're not safe because Marties can still force their way in there with those 2 fixtures. In fact, they can go all the way to the top of the table still with 2 good matches, the last of which is this Wednesday, on the 6th of September, against UWC. So the team sitting on the fringes will have to wait anxiously until midweek to see if they will make those playoffs. Oh, there's a miscalculation. We said it is so difficult to come up with a champagne rugby, to skip passes in these wet conditions. Lovely sniping run there by Willem van der Walt. And the Tigers keep going. Through the hands, they found the space, needs a pass. The try line was begging. Oh my goodness, that is just some poor decision making. The players getting in one another's way.
Absolutely, opportunity gone begging there for the IKEYS Tigers. And what an opportunity they had. Remember, they had a ball advantage in the side numbers. But I think great defending there from a DURBELL. They've closed the door from the outside, that old umbrella, forcing the pass to go back into action, getting himself out of trouble there. And certainly, I think the defense might have done the first one because IKEYS decided to just cross, get himself out of trouble here. Let's see if DURBELL can manage to get this one right this time. De Jong having the opportunity to feed. They're going to decide to go a short man line out. And does not beg your pardon for Nalanda him, and actually De Jong have side positions, and De Jong is supporting at the back. Well taken there from Bottas. Ball is quicker out of the floor. The floor does a bit of a champagne quick pass. But I think the first recipient, Stoffberg, was not ready for that hot potato. And obviously a high tackle in the process. How did a high tackle when the IKEYS was defending in the team? But I suppose must have something happened in the rack there. That went in there and trying to clean him and actually take off his head instead.
Well, with an opportunity now to make this DURBELL side turn around, defend closer to their line. That is a really good touch finder. And an ominous position to be in for the home side. If that last line-out drive was anything to go by, they made a couple of meters there. Look how close they are to the try line now. So trying times here for DURBELL. As we said, last year's finalists.
It looked like they're going for the whole 6+1, so clearly a drive is coming.
Yep, let's see where this ball ends up. Inevitably, you're looking for that line-out drive. You're going to go somewhere towards the middle or back just to give yourself that space. And then the throw needs to be accurate. And so far, so good for Troy Fisher. And again, does it. And instead of the line-out drive, they go quickly around the fringes. Beautiful play here from the Tigers. And they get themselves over the try line. Magnificent play. I think it's caught all of us off guard because we were expecting that maul to be set up, and then players just came around the fringes and went all the way through for the game's first 5-pointers. So the Tigers, IKEYS Tigers, lead 11-3 with the potential 2 more to come.
Absolutely. What a I mean, the drive was imminent then, and obviously we also thought the drive was coming, and for them to pull that wool pull a rabbit out of that bag certainly was an impressive one, because remember it was a quick play to the fly and immediately back into again. But what about that show and go from the front rower? And basically if that ball did release, would have been in traffic's hands, could have been stolen. And that show and go was just what the doctor ordered. Show and go, and literally the line was in front. It's like, no, I'm not going to let this one go. I think, is it a hooker or is it a...
Well, I'd love to see that again, because Skumeza Dionase was around there, but the high fives, it looked like it all went to Luca De Leo. Well, I'm sure we'll have an opportunity in the meantime. Opportunity for the further 2, and that is just shy, so there must be an appreciable wind blowing down there in Durbanville as well. And for the first time this afternoon, Tukoza Makaza misses. 11-3 the score. DURBELL, I'm afraid, have been their own worst enemies at the best of times here this afternoon.
Absolutely. Like, obviously, just making them think as well is key. Because, I mean, for everyone, we thought, we're not even there, that the drive was imminent. They're set up for a drive, as it was about to set. And obviously, the intended dropper became instantaneous scrum off. And what a great job it did there to let that ball out immediately.
Not sure how far has this gone. Beautiful, and well picked up there as well by Liebner van der Merwe. DURBELL have a real opportunity now. Not the greatest of pass there from Gertwel Lefleur. An opportunity to make up, and now skip 1, play 1. This is a good carry, makes a few more meters there. It looks like Arno Stoffberg comes back the other way. No, Stoffberg is there now, looking to play the sexy rugby. Does so indeed, and now space opens up for the big burly Daniel Bottas. This is a good carry. The best passage of play for DURBELL this afternoon. Now, is that accidental offside as well? We saw Jandras van der Linde there just sneaking in behind his big lock. Oh, big defense by the Tigers. Desperate times here. Lafleur takes it to the far side, looking for the skip pass there. Not good hands, I'm afraid. And it's gone forward there. Looks like forward there off Roderick Moses, the UWC player.
I think unfortunately Moses didn't have full control of the ball in his mind. He wanted to let it go as quickly as possible. But the opportunity was there to go direct as well. Remember, they were also trying to force him to come back in. Hence, he was forced to get that ball out as quickly as possible. What an opportunity missed there from them as well. But it was nice to see the interaction between the big fellas. Probably the best skill set we've seen with ball in hand from the big fellas. Tip on passes like Champagne Rugby centers is 1 and 3, not 13 and 12. And certainly make it look good. And they got that ball out wide, fun enough, just to show the heads up rugby from the two. But now they need to go back to the core jobs. And they mustn't forget they're still front rowers. They need to scrum first before playing Champagne Rugby.
The Durbanville Sports Club, which we are at today, has a volleyball team because there was a little bit of volleyball played by the big men there. Now they need to exchange quick hands for a good collective shove against a scrum and a pack that has pretty much had their number today.
Well, absolutely. I think IKEYS have really scrummed as a unit instead of individuals. Over the smartness and students of the front row in their core jobs, and solid scrum there from them as well. I think the scrum have needs to buy time. They can milk a penalty in every opportunity here.
Bobs around here in the middle of the park. It's the fullback with a quick feet. Ano Jordan, a good carry. He's kept it alive for his side. So returning the pressure immediately. All they can do is just hope they don't give away the penalty here. Look how they've lined up on the far side there. That's another good carry here by DURBELL. This really has been the best sustained period of pressure from the home side today. Back in the hands there of Daniel Boertes. And have a look at the defense by Jason McLeod-Smith, the man they call Fanta. No surprises for the nickname. If you look at that pop, the orange locks, there he is, getting up right now. And terrific defense here from IKEYS.
IKEYS are actually proving the speed of the line is forcing DURBELL to do things they're not used to. But the look of things, they want to run themselves out of trouble, but like taking on the opposite number and breaking through. But now they're forced to actually show a bit of that hand synergy to get the ball away from trouble. But it's not happening at their own pace. They're being forced into submission by the sheer speed from IKEYS here, forcing that situation. But let's see now if they can try to disrupt the scrum for once. Just have something to brag about at halftime.
Man in the red scrum cap on the far side of that scrum, Philip Masango, former Wynberg Boys high school pupil. And he is the first SA schools player to come from Wynberg since Kumbuzo Noche. So that is a good distinction, and it's not hard to see why. Look at the scrum dominance here from the Tigers. Looking at that last row of feet, it gives you an indication just of how that scrum has moved backwards there for DURBELL. Seemingly have the weight advantage, but from a technical point of view, it's been IKEYS Tigers all day long with this pack.
And obviously the captain's trying to suss out there. Listen, Mr. Ref, looked like we were dominant. Why did you actually not give us a penalty there? But obviously Ref not happy that someone popped. But then if someone pops from the white team, that's the only time you can do that. But if pops from the blue team, means they're under pressure. They're actually avoiding the collusion and avoiding the fight. They're getting out of the fight prematurely. But like I said, I think the little Joshua Muller was listening in on us here, trying to tell him he must keep the ball in a bit longer. He's got a chance of milking a penalty here. Let's see if this is going to work. And a good counter shove there from DURBELL.
Wow.
Good counter shove. I think they've got it right this time. Mr. Schmidt got one on his opposite number. And obviously letting him know in the process, like, listen, I got you now. Remember, he's letting him into the corner, but he got enough power and height to just not allow him to walk into that space. And certainly, what a shove, what a time to come back. Now the ref's perception is going to be changed. There's two teams in the field that can scrum. Hold on to DURBELL of coming back. Remember, sometimes fixing this. Oh,
Lopsha misses the corner. He was looking for just too much there. Chansey dicey, but have a look at this. They will get it out of their area. Where's that bounce? Beautiful outcome here for the Tigers. Look at how they've overturned the territory here with a couple of chancy passes, got to be said, but a really good kick out defensively there by Liam Kloosman.
Yeah, Liam Kloosman, a very educated chip and chase kick there, because he stayed in the field as long as possible, but it was also not varying too much on the inside. Talking about manipulating the wings on strings there, beautiful counter attacks from the fullback, realizing his opponent's numbers were not in position to cover them.
UCT not interested even in contesting in the line out there. Means that there's almost immediate forward momentum here for Durban. Christy van die Kerk brought down. It's taken up here by Daniel Boetes. Fleer ready to receive. He's got his hands on the ball now. UCT looking to contest that one. Will he go left? Will he go right? Will he go to the boot? Is the latter. Opportunity here now. Unfortunately, that one has just travelled too far, so none of his players could advance quickly enough to contest in the air. And the pressure has been returned. In the corner here is Hannah Jordan. What can he do with this touch finder? He's done, well, I thought brilliantly. And has done indeed. That is a fantastic kick given the angle that he had.
Well, absolutely brilliant kick, but also complemented with the chase of Moses there. If Moses was not there, IKEYS would have thrown that ball in and put the pressure right back onto DURBELL. And at this point in time, DURBELL is just trying to keep themselves out of trouble, just to make sure they don't concede any more points. Now, from this point on, that scoreboard pressure could get very painful if 3, 5, 7 at any point has been given, because they're in double figures, IKEYS. And those double figures can keep on growing. That DURBELL needs to make a plan. Well, they try, but unfortunately for them, they need to kick themselves out of their own half. They cannot run out of their own half, because I don't think they've got quick enough guys to actually manipulate or actually eliminate space for IKEYS to get gaps there and going through, because they need to 1 to 2 rucks, and that ball needs to come out again. Now if they've opted to go short, IKEYS.
Talks that he's had with a number of players.
Multitasking.
Fisher. He's found his man every single line out this afternoon, and have a look at this. Oh, intended for that little slip pass on the inside. And DURBELL now have UCT on the back foot. It's picked up there very nicely by Kloosman. Beats one player and then is brought down close to touch, but he's done well there for a man who was almost on a solo defensive mission there, but unfortunately foot out. Still good work by him.
I think that was great defense. Remember, he thought he had a number of a number two. Number 2 might have looked quick, but on a turnaround, changing his angles, easy to beat, and couldn't get away to the secondary defender. I think might have also been that man, the center, who's actually helped to chase that little hooker with that intercept that he got and chip and chase. Great job there from him.
Now, Murphy's Law, you've thrown terrifically into the lineouts all afternoon, Troy Fisher. Let's hope you can do the same close to your try line when the pressure's on. Almost always been looking for Captain Mika Schubert. Finds him again, but just a little bit of a fumble. And Val with the big kick out of a tricky position. Good touch finder.
Interesting part there, Udo, if I might actually bring in on that lineout. It's a front ball. They basically went for safety, but at the same time, you're going safety, but you're also putting the paraffin into the fire, because you can't go safety and then an OT ball from the front. Luckily for them, De Jong is not quick enough to put the scrum half under pressure. If it was someone quicker or even a loose forward, could have actually got Muller ball in all there, because that's a dangerous situation. That should be a down and out.
Stripped away. Got a feeling that went forward of an IKEYS hand. Referee concurs. An opportunity for DURBELL here to pick up the possession, but that man playing at the ball was in completely the wrong position. So we'll have a scrum here.
No, actually, IKEYS are lucky to get this one. I think that might have gone from an IKEY hand.
I thought it was the captain Schubert.
But like I said, you play one to the whistle. The ref was not sighted. Remember the angling as well. Where he came from was difficult for him to see. And that ball was basically just in mid-air, not being able to be gathered by nobody. And it became an instantaneous damtiriri. And that's why the hooker decided, listen, let me try my luck. Maybe we've got a better chance of getting 3 points with a drop kick.
Spoke to you about Philip Masango in the red scrum cap. He's got a big smile on his face because he knows what's coming. At the dominance once more. That last scrum was perhaps a little bit of a wake-up call where DURBELL really was able to flex on the close side of the scrum as we see it here via Vian Schmidt.
Oh, trouble again. Oh, yes. He might have been hinging, but the problem, the first one who went to the ground was his opposite number, Alizwam Kletade. Remember, hinging but not going to the ground doesn't qualify you going to the ground. So the little tight head needed to keep his feet and keep on driving. He might have been in the right place. Maybe fatigue is kicking in.
Case of which big building falls first, and on that occasion it was the tight head of IKEYS. Have a look at this for a touch finder. Right up on that 5-meter line. In fact, even closer. Terrific work. Would be very interesting here if DURBELL can turn this field position into a try, because they desperately need it. 11-3 with perhaps the last play of the match. Found his man perfectly, and now the drive from DURBELL. It's dropped at the back of that scrum, but the referee says it's gone backward, and Lefleur is under all sorts of pressure now. He's been caught in possession. Can he get it to a teammate? Have a look at this. Oh my goodness, MC de Jong driven back there. So they've lost a couple of meters, but crucially,
knock on. He had a ball in hand.
Oh my word. Right now it's passed on to Duetas once again. It's out and available to Lefleur. So have a look at the contestation here by the IKEYS players. That was a hand to the face, and Troy Fisher let the referee know. But for now, play on. Front foot ball here for DURBELL. They'd be desperate for a score close to the half. And has that been stripped legally? No, it's still in the hands of DURBELL. Big defensive effort here. Buertas brought to ground. Lefleur still with it. It's in the hands of Loubser. Little bit of a step on the inside here. That just stunts a bit of the momentum. And Sepumeza Dion Nase. Some good defensive work there. I've got to be careful here. Got to be vigilant over this ball. Just a few meters out. Now in the hands of Lievner van der Merwe. He carries it up a few more meters. And unfortunately, it's been given away. Just never set that ball in time.
Which is unfortunate. I mean, sustained attack, but sustained attack with no protection, as good as no attack whatsoever. I mean, the fullback and Togozo there, Makaza did absolutely well, got in a man first. Remember, he was up the alley with the big boys, so he could have been cleaned out to the tee. No, I beg your pardon, it's not him, it's Pumezo. Janose, who actually got in there. I was about to say, that man is good, brave, but unfortunately the scrum caps are throwing me off because they're both playing with scrum caps there, but he did absolutely job. That's his core job, by the way. He did it to the tee, stayed strong on his feet. He got some pounding, but luckily for him, he had the power of the legs and the power of being gutsy on over that ball and got that penalty, saving his team. I think, did he tap and kick to go to the Oranges, or does he want to have his line out?
I think that should be it for the first half. And it goes according to the form book. UCT coming into this game in second position. They have an 11-3 advantage over the home side DURBELL at the halfway mark of this ultra important match. 2 plays 3. The winner here today can finish the log, the Western Province Super League log table, in prime position, and then it will be off to the playoffs for whoever finishes 1 and 2. The Tigers, they've done their work in this first half. DURBELL, they got plenty of it to do in the second in front of their home fans. They trail 11 points to 3. 4-round fixture in the Western Province Super League. 11-3 at the break. IKEYS dominated the first 40. And are hoping to continue with that dominance in the second half. At stake in this game is a place in the playoffs of one of the finest club competitions anywhere in South Africa. And the dominance we spoke of there at contact time seems to be asserted once more. And it's Troy Fisher who's had a blinder of a game in defense and in feed at the line-out time. He's been so accurate this afternoon. Gets the ball back on his side. Scrum within their 22. Another facet of the game that has been dominated. A couple of changes we can see have been made on the DURBELL side already.
Yeah, it seems like Van der Lande has had his day. The offers 40 minutes finish. Sipogutle again has got his chance now of attacking Masango, who's been actually a thorn in their scrums in terms of getting not the negative shoulder that they don't want. Let's see if he can make any improvement. Good hit. Stabilizing and putting in pressure. Stable scrum there. Oh, well stolen there from Lefleur.
Already much better here from DURBELL at scrum time. And have a look at the break here. Lovely close in support. It's the 8th man, Peter Smith, who's there. And double change made in the pack here at the break. It's Rennie Brink and Sipu Bakeni onto the field. And understandable that coach Warren Peterson made those changes at the break, because it's an area where they were sadly lacking in the first half. And there's the self-same Bakeni now with the carry. Lefleur gives it up to the other new man on the park, Brink. Lovely carry once again by Arno Stoffberg. And now this is good ball from DURBELL. Just have a look at how close they are to the try line here. Oh, there was a leg into the head there of Moses. But it's all taken up by Stoffberg. And it is try time for the home team. They've hit back at the perfect opportunity here. And the home team are back in it. Just what they needed at the start of the second half.
Clearly something special in that Lemon Sapi at halftime. Guys came back rejuvenated. Play like they seem to have capabilities of doing so, keeping with their force, keeping that momentum. Obviously astutedness from the coaches as well, making the necessary adjustment to make sure that this machine is operating at the optimum. Those two changes in Bakeni and Brink certainly made a difference. With the first scrum seems to be more stable and more strong as well. Obviously compliment to the lead scrum of Lefleur, who was awake this time when that negative shoulder came. He went in there and said, thank you very much, I'll have it for you. While we're still looking for an opportunity to pass, we'll take it. Let's see if that 5 points is going to become 7. It should be like a complimentary one, but it's not far from front of the poles, this one. I can write it down. I hope I don't curse him.
No, you called it perfectly. Bisects the 2 uprights and 2 points added. Just what the doctor ordered, and suddenly it is a 1-point game. 11 plays 10. The home side have come back from the dead. Interesting what a change can make in that front row. UCT have a couple of things to think about here. It's Val who goes deep onto Moses. Let's go to Anna Jordan once more. Terrific, terrific touch finder. Oh, when things start going your way. When things start going your way.
And I think smart thing there from Jordan, he actually made sure that ball goes into the cheap seats, because he knows that this varsity team is going to have a problem of throwing that ball in at any time they want, and doesn't want to give them that opportunity to do so. What an exit. That's exactly what a coach would want. After scoring, you need to make sure you get a beautiful exit to make sure that you get into the horse as quickly as possible and look at the position, and they have to compete for that ball. What confidence does that give them to just put more pressure on the IKEYS?
Fisher has been accurate all afternoon. Captain Mika Schubert is the one that normally receives here at line-out time. Comes to the front, does again. Quick ball here out the hands of Muller. It's another fresh pair of legs on the park for the IKEYS. So, number 20. 21, Jack Hampshire. DURBELL ball. Short arm out. Keep carrying there on the far side. This is good work by DURBELL. Low Jubber on the side. Catch ball and it's taken away there. Yes, Fredericks. Stole DURBELL ball, playing off that advantage. High tackle.
Basically playing with a bit of smiles as well. DURBELL, I think that's one thing we probably missed in the first half from them. And that we didn't see that now they seem to be having, they feel like good. They're playing on the right side of the field, they're playing the right game plan. And obviously the backs making sure that they keep it close to their forwards and forcing them to actually stay with the ball in hand. And the passes are earlier and more sympathetic as well. And they've given them time to get that momentum. Remember, they're big boys. They need momentum to actually, by the time they get to defense. Or maybe, and maybe the IKEYS have maybe slowed down in their speed, defensive speed coming out of that as well. And then drive taking place, and a good set drive there from DURBELL. And certainly some people are going to come from the side. And certainly indeed.
Still Rennie Brink with it. Have a look at this. Fantastic. Now joined there by
look at that.
And now they peel off. Still in the hands of DURBELL. How many of those players are in an onside position in defense for the IKEYS? Referee keeping a close eye there in the hands of Moses. Moses passes it to Lopsha. It's out there to the fleet of Enzo Futi. Now where's the support? In quick enough. A little bit of a dicey pass there. Jordan eventually had the ball in his hands, but the referee has called them back.
Well, it might look dicey, but you think playing under advantage. Remember, they went sideways, not forward. That might be more than 10 meters. Remember, you need to get 10 meters forward for the ref to decide if advantage is over. And talking about dicey passes, I think the inside center, they overran Moses, overran the scrum half. Remember, scrum half was coming to clean something that was looking messy, and wanted to make sure get it away from trouble. He needed to just hold his ground a bit. Like I said, they're having a conversation exactly about that you overran me, and obviously under pressure like that, I can't give you a ball at the bread basket. It's virtually impossible. But like I said, they've got an advantage now. They can still continue. They've got a momentum. They've got a drive.
Well, I keep standing back. Have DURBELL opted for... Exactly, have they opted for, yeah? Because that pack looks like one in conversation about a scrum here.
No, not a scrum. I think a scrum was too much of a gamble. A line out is easier, especially when I keep it the throw in as well. Keep it as simple as possible. Just make sure the setting is happening at front. I mean, with the whole front row has been replaced here. Rennie Brink, Henno Weber, and Sipho Utle Bakken have come in to take the reins, and obviously adding that positivity as well. Let's see now if that drive is going to be reciprocated. And obviously slightly pushing over to set. The man was just replaced. Remember, a ball has been channeled to the back. Keep it safe while everyone in front is working hard as they can. And by the look of IKEYS being in that position, it's going to be virtually impossible to stop that. Remember, that is also broken off, so it's not a failed drive. It just becomes a pick and go now.
George Olafiru siphoned off that ball on the side of that maul. Close to that try line. Just having a look here.
Ref took too long to make that decision. All the players were like, what's a call, what's a call, what's a call? And obviously feeling that the players were falling over that ball in that situation, not losing that possession, losing that emphasis of putting pressure. Ike is absolutely elated with that position, but that ball seems not to be out though.
Again, not for the first time. Crucial touch is missed. Carried by Enzo Futi. Lovely lefty feet there from the man born in Worcester. Moses with a little kick through now. It's Big Phil Masango, the Bedford truck with a little bit of a big turning circle there. He's done well. Eventually was caught in possession there.
Yo, for the Merva did absolutely well. The man they call Luna certainly came in as an open side flank. And listen, this is a kickable kick. Remember, you actually trying to get ahead on the scoreboard as well, but they feel they've got more on their side now to get more points here. But remember now, it's not guaranteed until you score it. Sometimes playing playoffs, not playoffs as such, but you're trying to get ahead of everything. You need to push the scoreboard pressure as well. I mean, that's what IKEYS did in the first half. And obviously now no things going their well, but they want more. They don't want 3, they want 5 or 7. Let's see if they're going to get it right this time.
Benny Brunk, former Paul Boys high man, finds his jumper perfectly, and 2-3 line-out drives in a row. Has won plenty of meters here for DURBELL. Let's have a look at the work being done there by Bakeni. And now he's into the pod there with the possession right up on the try line. Fantastic angle of it. Where do they go? Lefleur feeds it to the big burly man on the inside, and has he gone over the try line? Has it been held up? Waiting for a call here. Brink has lost his pants and nearly stopped in the process as well. Looks like that was some splendid work done there by Willem van der Walt. Right on his try line. There'll be a consultation now. Just needed somebody to put that ball over the line. That's how
I thought he might have got there. Remember the mere fact that IKEYS went and killed that whole thing to try to hide it from the air. So that's why the air was being put so much pressure from the player trying to get an answer. The rest said, no, come down and consult and see what happens.
Controlled the game well this afternoon. And he announces the winner of the Oscar. He's just going to have a word here with the 2 opposing captains. Just explaining the outcome there.
Looks like a shot. So a scrum is going to ensue. Let's see now. Having a scrum that close with a new front row that's been doing very well. I mean, they're not as many scrums as this so far, but they look like the part as soon as they came on the replacement front row. The bomb squad of a DURBELL. They've certainly been ringing the bell quite nicely. This point in time, things have been stable.
They're looking at the substitutes who've come on. 16 and 18, or 16 and 17. Both of them are 2 very young kids. Weber with the 2-month-old baby at home, and really Brink with a 6-month-old baby at home. Perhaps they are first choice, but they're just in need of a bit of a rest. So
they don't sleep at night.
The squad impact has been felt here by DURBELL. And the 2 men who are clearly very busy at home with domestic affairs. Very good position for them here now.
And all of them are over 30 at this point in time. Good experience there indeed. They've seen some green grass in their lives. Nice setup there from Bakini. Just the engine needs to come in now. Beautiful. Now they need to shove a second shove because they've got the height, they've got the power. The 8-9 advantage is coming here by all means possible if it's not a penalty try.
There we go. There we go.
Penalty try?
DURBELL are over for their second 5-pointer of the afternoon. And it's the same try scorer once again. Jersey number 6, Arno Stoffberg. And what a moment to do it. And for the first time in this game, it's DURBELL who will take the lead. An inspired change to the pack at halftime. Remember, they were trailing 11 points to 3. That deficit was wiped out almost immediately with a try by Stoffberg in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Now they take the lead with 2 more to come. What a turn of events this has been.
Listen, if Stoffberg didn't even control that ball well, they would have got a penalty try because they were well and truly over their opponents in that point in time. All V8 machine was prowling there, trying over IKEYS. IKEYS have no answer on that onslaught, which is very strange. I thought they had something going on there, but it seems like they don't have a secondary answer.
Could be a costly kick in the final analysis. It's pulled just to the left there by Hanno Jordan. 2 points left on the field there.
Well, reinforcements are Keegan Glade coming on to assist after that scrum. Certainly something needs to happen. But Josh Strauss really pulling the strings there from the bench. Maybe might just decide to go in the engine room and help out as well.
Makaza with the kick right onto the 22. Stoffberg with the carry, the try scorer. Jordan now with a big boot upfield. He's been so good with the exit play, but it's into the hands of Tukoza Makaza. He doubles around. Val gets the ball to that man that you've just spoken of, and he's almost isolated in the middle of the park there, but for the attention of Sipumaza Dionase. Needs to fall the right way here, he does indeed. Muller gets them going. To get up the field here via Jason McLeod-Smith. There's it back on the inside in the hands of Masango. Masango runs into traffic. He's just keeping it very small at the moment. That is a sexy little pass on the inside to the big burly number 7, Van der Walt. But it's been stripped away. Keeping a line, an eye on that defensive line. Big barge through by George Willefeer. And unfortunately, Willefeer went down there.
That's a big supporting run as Udo. That didn't complement that big run there from the big Olefeer. They actually went and dove into a swimming pool instead of staying on their feet. And what a let down there for the DURBELL, who are actually doing so well in defense. Everything is up. But that technicality just letting him down at the wrong time there.
Trouble here for Masango. He stayed down. I don't know if this is just fatigue setting in, because these conditions underfoot will be heavy on the system.
No, certainly they will be. And remember, it's been busy as well. Remember the absolutely devastating scrumming session in the first half. And obviously second half, things have become a bit tight. But that being tight, listen, maybe he's trying to send a signal as a ref. Sorry, coachy. We do have a backup there in the likes of Kuzwayo. Maybe he might have a bit of a run as well. Just to say, remember, he's maybe a very important tool in this team as well, because he's a great scrummager. But obviously seems to love the ball in hand as well. So the coach probably relies a lot on him and on the backup system. Remember, backup system, when things really fall apart, that's when you bring it in. It's going to be another 5+1.
Troy Fisher with the throw, yeah. Where does he go? Schubert as always. And now the drive. Very little time for DURBELL to set up their defenses, and you can see it's telling. It's Takib Ryland there that was nearly exposed in more ways than one. This is dogged defense here from DURBELL. Have a look at this. Now Van der Walt on his own. Nobody from DURBELL over that ball. Josh Muller gets his man on the outside, fresh on the park, and a lovely bit of feet here. Beautiful pass on the inside to Koza Makaza, but has that gone forward? Oh, that's some good play there from was it Lazan Davis with that initial run. Still Ikey's ball, still Tigers ball here. Now the support comes in. Man in the yellow scrum cap there, Takib Ryland. He's barged over. Is this going to be awarded? The referee is in prime position here.
Trying to pull off the layers to see how the ball ended up.
Held up
there from DURBELL. Well done on them. And obviously I think just impatience there from IKEYS as well. Just showing their youth at the wrong time here. They needed to have cool heads. Just go through the phases. Remember what worked in the first half. Now they're trying to rush everything. He tapped early little scrum off, but unfortunately when he tapped, he had no options. He had to take it up himself. That just shows you that some clear heads, some cool heads are needed in situations like that. Obviously they feel they need to chase in the game, but now they can have a scrum, they can have a line out. Oh no, the only option they have is the scrum, unfortunately. And this is a penalty.
The referee has been running a masterclass this afternoon. He's had no problem just explaining the full weight of every decision. He's taken his time in doing so. Venla, they will exercise the option of that line out.
Yeah, the advantage did count.
Makaza with that kick into the corner there.
Penalized not being turned. Remember, they were found flat-footed. Maybe that's what I did from the little Miller, trying to get that extra if something doesn't come right.
When last have you seen one of these? Look how stretched this line out is. All the way to the back. And Schubert is always the recipient. But it was not straight.
But a lot of things were not correct there, Udo, if I can tell you. So that line-out support was also poor. Hence the hooker had to throw that ball in that angle he was throwing. You could see his jumpers actually sinking before he could even throw. He had to go find him exactly where he was there.
I tell you what, when you're trailing 15-11 all of a sudden, when you've led the game all the way through, that is a costly mistake. Will be a DURBELL feed at scrum time here. Yes, they are under pressure. But this pack is certainly bedding down a lot better in the second half than they've done in the first. Can the IKEYS Tigers apply that pressure again? You said a couple of changes made to the pack.
Yeah, and I think they've replaced the tight head. And with a new guy come in and actually they Keegan Glade. Let's see if he's going to add that emphasis that they need, that bit of force. Remember, they're nice and tight. They're not very tall. Slightly taller than the predecessor, Alazo Magdeta there, but hopefully his technique is probably as sound. If not, he's going to be in trouble with that front row who feels good. They will on top of the game in the second half. Reni and Sipukutle.
Referee's going to have a word here. Which building fell first, Lawrence?
Nah, they fall simultaneously, but he couldn't penalize anyone. But I think the replacement there, Bakeni, he was also rolling in the process instead of trying to keep his spine in line. Let him finish the hinge. Eventually, he's going to end up on top of Masango there, and Masango just followed him as well. Because it's strange enough, that's one thing he hasn't done so far, is to roll, and the ref could have penalized him basically for scrumming on the arm, because the only time you can roll is when the Lucett's arm is underneath you and you're trying to exploit him. But in the ref's eyes, you look like you're doing the wrong thing. He needs to get a long bind and keep just his hips do the work for him.
Clayton Daniels fresh on the field
good
and now
pressure.
driven back. It's out quick enough. But they were almost caught in possession behind their try line there, and eventually frenetic kick out of defense. That exit strategy, it finds them touch at least.
Good pressure there from IKEYS, and actually I think their follow-up defense was sleeping. Like I've said before, if a forward pack is going forward, the scrum half and the loose forward need to be on their quick feet as well, because that was the loose forward's job now to make sure subdue that whole movement there, because that was basically just tippy-toe stuff there from DURBELL to get out of trouble. Let's see what they can do with this one to official.
A little less stretched out this time, and as always, to the captain. Good contact there, and now they play to the far side of the field. It's Take Bryland who was in possession there, next to Willem van der Walt. Hands in the ruck there by DURBELL, but jersey number 20, Andre Verveers, wasn't able to get to the ball. So UCT come to the close side through Josh Miller, and now the captain, Mika Schubert, will carry it a few more meters. Josh Miller gives it to Dionase. Lovely work on the inside there by Luca De Leo. Now they will take it to the far side, but the defensive line is so flat, looking to force just that, the defensive or the offensive error.
I think the flag was also confused, Udo, from IKEYS Ulrich, because remember, his open side flank and the fullback have got exactly the scrum cap, and that kind of a pass only a backline player can able to handle. He just let it go at the wrong time, the open sider. Jonas basically just knocked it on slightly. But one thing that is positive, that one change in the scrum certainly made a difference. They're able now to apply the pressure back onto DURBELL there, which now has made it a contestable situation. Now we can't even pre-call it now, because we don't know what's coming, depending who's actually more lit, more on, more amped for whatever battle is coming in front of him. But one guy who seems to be very amped is Masango. Remember, it's his job now to make sure he puts pressure. Someone pulled out at the wrong time there.
Looked to be on the far side of that scrum there.
And Lo Weber actually pulled out. That is actually very dangerous. because he could put his own hooker in a serious situation there if that thing followed through right through.
Tell you what, I've loved the urgency of the replacement scrum half, Clayton Daniels, who's been on the park now in the second half. He's shown a little bit of spark about himself as they just reset that scrum on a slightly less muddy patch of the Durbanville Sports Ground. And Daniels, a teacher in the area, and was a former Western Province Under-21 player of 6 years ago. He'll feed you at scrum time. See, the crowd on the far side has been building quite nicely as well. Some of the locals have come out on a really cold day. Arm is up here from the referee. All controlled here by DURBELL. And has this been given away?
Yeah, I think DURBELL got it wrong there. Well, I suppose the front row was felt. They had good advantage here. I think Masango allowed his opposite number to take him inwards. And at that instance, I think the scrum half should have just run. Remember, the loose forward is isolated. Could have taken that little gap there. Obviously, the opposite number had him as well. He didn't. I mean, you said he was sharp. Clearly missed that opportunity to take. Certainly not as sharp as he's supposed to be, because that was a great opportunity just to snap right next to the scrum, and he would have been running to the fly. First person would have probably even tried to tackle him. An opportunity missed, but I suppose the next scrum won't be the same as the other one. Remember, every scrum just delivers something different every time.
Hope I haven't put the mockers on Daniels. He'll feed again. No, it's just, it continues to be messy. So was it IKEYS there a little bit early? In the meantime, the try scorer Stoffberg carries. Daniels spews that one out in the hands of Lopsha. All sorts of defensive attention on him, but he does well. And that's gone forward there after that pass from Brink. It's back on the inside now in the hands there of Lievner van der Merwe. McKenny. And the carry. Mannelik Lus hier van DURBELL. The second half, now that they have the lead, this is really good ball retention out wide. That was a very flat pass, and in the process a lot closer to the defender than he wanted to be, Ethan Conrad, but it's still DURBELL ball. Jersey number 17 Enlo Weber there, who's carried back. Still no energy lost in the defense. That's splendid work there by Masango. Moses with the pass on the outside, and it's the big man. Attempted kick through there, but straight into the hands of IKEYS player. And still, it's DURBELL with the ball. That's a 2-on-1 special there by the IKEYS Tigers in defense. But the ball is still retained. Another phase here. Daniels brought to ground eventually. Bring it back to the close side again, and a little bit of a bobble there. Weber not really making any meters here with all this ball retention, Lawrence.
Oh,
and given away. Given away.
Which is unfortunate. Bakeno was taking away the threat, but you cannot take someone who's not part of the ruck. Taking a wannabe, contestable, and certainly giving a penalty away. I think here was a smart thing here for IKEYS. He needs to get 3 points. Remember, the sustained pressure. They've actually, the defense has got better, but they still don't want the 3 points. There's still a lot of time to play here, and certainly 12 minutes plus is a lot of time. Get 3 points, come back, get another 3. I mean, you win the game by a point.
Kaza has been so good in finding that little corner right in front of the try line all afternoon. This just a few meters light. In fact, a good 10 meters light from some of the other touch finders from penalties that they've had. This man has had a splendid game. Troy Fisher, former Rondebosch Boys High School pupil. He's been flirting with the Varsity Cup side all season long as well. Has an opportunity here to launch an attack. That's not the cleanest of possession. Cleaned up by Dionase, and they let it go. That was in the hands there of Van der Walt. Dionase has never been short of action this afternoon. Number 6 for the IKEYS Tigers, but unfortunately it's given it away. Daniels with a little bit of a stutter step, and what a sexy little bit of play. He's kicked it into the pocket there. Val will get it to the fleet of foot Makaza. Now where's the support? That's into the leg, and it's been stripped away there. He's held on to the ball on the ground. But the referee said that there was no ruck form, so that was fine. And it's DURBELL who've finally made the possession pay with a good bit of territory here.
I think Luka Dali was actually not calculated. That was a poor offload. He's looking at a wannabe recipient, but his offload was substandard in terms of the delivery, because that was perfect. Remember, the man is taken out, give the man in a bread basket, he's on his feet and he's fresh. He's just got onto the field, and look, coming back, they're not really helping, and an opportunity gone begging, then a counter attack. Remember, they're desperate now, they're chasing everything now. Those opportunities need to be executed to the T, and certainly what a time not to get it right.
Are we into the witching hour here? And I say witching hour because the average age of DURBELL is about 8 or 9 years older than the average age of UCT IKEYS. So muscles will be aching, sinews and tendons will be tired from all the bone crunching all afternoon, and it's slightly more seasoned meat in the dark blue shirts than in the blue and whites.
And strange enough, the one who's stretching his legs at the moment is the younger one of the few, 22-year-old Joshua Lufiri. And certainly it's been a rough day at the office. He's certainly been putting it in as well. What a shift he's put on as well for a big man to be running around all day on that heavy grass. I mean, to give you a perspective, if you played with boots a whole season on a dry surface, and jiggy go one game on a wet surface like it's, even your boots will be left on the field. That's how heavy a rugby field can be sometimes. And certainly I think the guys that are actually going to be enjoying it more are the men in blue, and they're on the right side of the field as well. I think here they need the right Strange enough though, I think McCain has changed something in his technique. He's attacking the inside shoulder on the loose side now instead of attacking Masondo. Look, Masondo is giving him the scuff to scrum on. All he needs is to make sure put pressure on that scuff. Right shoulder is actually ensuing there, but they're trying to get that penalty. And certainly they've got a chance of doing so here. The ref is not buying it. Nobody break the rules. They were reversing, but no one is actually breaking anything at this point in time. I think they need to take advantage of this situation. Try to get the right shoulder, exploit the blind. 8-9-14, or even snap himself here. Look at that. Eventually he's allowed to go in. Masondo can't do anything now with his hips facing the ref at this point in time. He's rendered useless. But how they go back to his angle again makes no sense, because now everyone on reset. That scrum was straightened immediately. They should have continued on that inward channel. They would have exposed Masondo, and this is time to give a penalty away. But I think they lose it and they tight it. Maybe the hooker's not driving that car like he should be driving it. Mr. Brank, he should have continued to the left hand side where Weber was actually supposed to lead that whole charge.
It's been messy in the second half, yeah?
It's fatigue.
It's been a long season. It's the final round, as we said, of Western Province Super League action for these two teams as they vie for a top 2 position, so they can have a bye and take a breather and have a look at the other 4 teams slug it out for a semi-final spot. So stakes are high here. Oh, what was that for, Lawrence?
No, they're just not getting it set already, not get going, pre-engagement in sort of a way.
Desperation here from the IKEYS. Lovely little jinky run here. Good work there by Rias Fredericks. Now Taki Bryland, he gets them going forward a few more meters through the hands of Val and look at the Leo. Now they're just punching off the back foot a little bit here. Have a look at the work put in by Van der Walt. Going nowhere. Haven't made that gain line quite yet. Now they do. That's a good carry there by Rias Fredericks. The defense was slow in getting back. Their arm is up. And look who's there. Look who's there. The man they call Brufel, Philip Masango. That's terrific work by the prop to get to that breakdown so quickly?
Well, certainly was not keen to clean this time. He wanted the ball in hand, and the scrum half wouldn't release. And obviously, was slightly late for that clean as well. Remember, if he ran a chosen line over the scrum half, could have actually got it early. I think they got you not for big 10, which I think is unfair. For the first time, that blue line was really retreating while the scrum was running. But the referees are counting, and my counting is probably slightly different.
Into the final 8 minutes of play here. All sorts of conversations happening amongst the backline players here of UCT. They know they are under the cosh. They trail by 4 points. And I'll just have a quick little drink here as Captain Mika Schubert just calls out the final marching orders. Are desperate to get the win here because a win will catapult them above Villagers, who sit in first position at the moment, purely on points difference. In fact, top 3 teams sitting on 48 points today. The top 6 teams are separated by just 6 points. That's how dramatic this climax is to the Western Province Super League this season. Durban, of course, tasted the finals a year ago, where they lost 25-15 to False Bay. The 2022 championship match, Grand Challenge match at the Dani Craven Stadium at the end of September last year. Into that phase of the competition again. Not quite all or nothing. It certainly will help if you can finish the season in those top 2 positions. Big boot here for Makaza. They know the significance of this touch finder. And birds know the significance of rain, especially when the field has been heavily trodden by rugby players. Those worms eventually will emerge.
All the goodies are lying on top instead of underneath. You don't have to do some mining, there's simply just collection.
Fisher, my man of the match from an IKEYS perspective, certainly. As always, laser directed at his captain. Know what they want to do, but this is good defense here from DURBELL. Can they get forward momentum here? They're being pushed to the side. That's a lovely little step on the inside. Is he peeled off here? The referee has his hands up. A stitch in time. And terrific play here by the IKEYS.
Unfortunately, Fisher, the man of the match wannabe, was caught isolated. Remember, that thing was turned on its head backwards, sideways, and he broke off. Unfortunately, he had no support when he hit the ground. They well tackled, and obviously a couple of blue jerseys over him. They're keeping their heads, and what a time to turn the ball around. Remember, 5 pointers there could have been the end of the DURBELL's chances of
so
actually
close.
proceeding here.
So close.
So close, but so far for IKEYS as well. And DURBELL will be having a sigh of relief, a breath of sigh of relief at the moment.
Is that just the lack of patience again? You spoke about the exuberance of the youngsters a little bit earlier. Just a little bit of lack of patience there again?
Exactly, that's the point. You need to stick together and make sure, go through the processes. And DURBELL has shown exactly that.
Stolen. This one is stolen here, but how quickly will DURBELL come up? Look at how they shift that defensive line. Lovely flat little ball. Now, Tigers look to run this. Oh, 2-on-1 there on Zan Davids.
Slight high tackle.
Wow, who's played very little part on attack today. Ball in hand. He gets that going. Van der Walt is brought to ground. And they let go. Oh, it's fortunately gone backwards off Luca De Leo. Still going through the phases here. The referee will call them back here. So playing off an advantage. What do they do with 4 minutes of play? Because this is within striking range, but it won't be enough to take the lead.
Remember now, if they took the 3 points earlier, would have been an ideal opportunity now just to put the cream on top and wrap this thing at the moment. But less than 4 minutes, man, is sometimes a lifetime. I'll look at a sparring pass. I think here a 2-on-1 was killed by a skip pass, because that shouldn't have been a skip pass, because we would have actually created that. Then it became a 2-on-1 defensive advantage. That's why he was smashed into the canvas there, with basically a double barrel onto the side. And I've got a chance of having a line out the last say in this situation in terms of, I mean, like I said, 4 minutes is a long time, but it's getting less and less every time the ref has to explain something. The time is not stopping.
Makaza's kick. Where will this end up? There's a lot of talking here. Eventually the decision has been made that they're going to go for the corner. Nico Schubert barking out the orders there on the right boot of Makaza. How far has he taken play? Let's have a look at the AR. Yeah, that's a good 7-8 meters away from the try line. And it's their throw in at line out time. We're into the final 3 minutes of play. This man has missed his jumper maybe once all afternoon, Fisher.
And that time was not even his fault. I think support was found wanting. And most of the time I've noticed that support was slightly an inch too late. So he needed to hit the hands. Throw jumps are mostly dangerous.
Uncontested.
Oh, I think the ball is there.
Looking to set up, and where did that man pop up from?
No, it was a knock on, and then he picked it up again, trying to salvage the situation. Exactly like I'm saying, I mean, the throws are actually on point. Now the supporters or someone is supposed to rip, and that's why it went pear-shaped at the moment for the IKEYS Tigers. And then what a time as well to let go of the pressure valve. But there's some people who are going to take their time even forming this scrum is DURBELL. And the next thing on the list is to make sure they get that thing into the cheap seats, to make sure that they actually stay away from this area, because that time is really running out slowly but surely for them. But
just
first
needs
things first, yes.
Simple exit strategy, yeah.
But they've got no one behind this.
That's interesting. That is very interesting. They're lining up to run it now. Again, problems at scrum time.
Remember the first one that happened is from
Brink and Weber have been full of mouth, but it's IKEYS Tigers here. They have an opportunity. Van der Walt, he's had a brilliant game all afternoon. Goes out wide. Lovely carry and a little bit of a roll. I think there was more than just the momentum there, that roll. And the big man, Masango, he's played his heart out this afternoon. Taken to ground there is Ryland. Kimelo Dandala is on the ball. DURBELL need to defend with all their might here. Are they allowed to play at that? Now, Yonase, oh, that is big contact on him. And now there's been a clash of heads here. One man with the scram cap. The other looks like Stoffberg without.
Because those scrum caps are becoming handy when in situations like that. It was a nasty clash of heads, absolutely by accident. Not intentionally, but the refs needs to adjust. Remember, the advantage was not for high tackle, more for the knock-on into the ruck situation. So obviously giving time to this situation here. People are going to be scheming and planning. Is the man from up the hill. UCT certainly need to come up with a master plan, with a PhD playing, and that needs to get him out of this situation. Because certainly it's going to be a die-up, because if you don't get a try, they're certainly going to be in trouble of not progressing.
And I tell you what, they're plenty 21 and 22-year-olds, unless there's a genius in the mix. They won't be a PhD just yet, perhaps close to that first degree, which will explain just a little bit of the overexcitement, the exuberance when they get close to the try line. And I think a welcome break here for just about everybody on the park. It has been a game in trying conditions that would have taken its toll physically. Thick, heavy grass here at Durbanville Sports Ground, and on a day where it's been gloomy grey, but it's the home side. If you look at the score line, you still lead 15-11. Is that Joshua Strauss, the player coach, having a word with him right now?
No, it's not him. It's one of the other technical guys. He's actually staying a bit back here, maybe just getting his energy ready whenever it's needed to just come on and save the day. This point in time, other technical team is actually just backing the orders and say, listen guy, we need to calm down.
And in the process, there's been a yellow card as well. Wonder if it is for that clash of heads. We see that heavily strapped Stoffberg now. It is jersey number 8. Peter Smith was yellow carded. But the Tigers, they push ahead. Final minute and a bit of the game. You're right on the try line. 5 points will give them the lead. Will give them the win, and they know it. It is Masango there with a carry, but he's tackled back. Dudula, he's got the hand. Ball on Andy Onase, who was part of that contact there. He's got up on his feet again, and he's so close to that try line. Oh, this is exciting stuff. And Dudula there, into the hands of Van der Walt, who barges over.
He's got it.
He's got it. IKEYS hit literally on the buzzer here. Couple of injured DURBELL players as well. The referee will just consult before making the final call, but for all the money in the world, that looks like a legitimate 5-pointer.
Absolutely, because he was also very sharp to make that call as well. And certainly would be a blow, a final blow, a killer blow there for DURBELL, who felt that they were halfway in. And at that point in time, IKEYS are like confident in their endeavor. Let's see what the ref is consulting here.
With that try, if it stands, IKEYS 16, DURBELL 15. They will be back in the lead for the first time in the second half after ceding it to DURBELL, who struck with a try right after play was resumed in the second 40. So keep an eye on the referee. Let's have a look at what transpired in Dudula. Well, tap looks to go. Van der Walt comes on the inside of him there. And then steps one on his knees. That looks to me neat and tidy, surely.
4 bodies on his body at the moment. He did absolutely great. They're beating McKinney first.
There we go. The try stands because the conversion is to come. So they have the lead, and time is pretty much up. Makaza will take full toll here. Settle himself, knowing that they already have the 1-point lead. Good contact. And that's through the poles as well. So we've seen a bit of a hijacking, a late coup here by the Tigers. There should be time enough here for just the restart. So perhaps one more phase of play.
We're on the rev added time here. Remember, he's got a clock on himself as well. Our clock is run out. But here it needs to be a contestable, and a contestable that leads to a penalty. But a deep kick is not going to help DURBELL whatsoever here. Just going to add some wound, some salt into the wound here, because IKEYS are going to try and run it from there.
Need to force a mistake. Even then, a penalty will just square up the scores. No, man barging through there. Dudula takes it quickly. Has he got support? No, he doesn't, so he kicks it through. And now it's desperate times. Will that bounce perfectly? Oh, what a lovely bit of play here. What a fantastic try to end it all. They clawed their way back in the second half. They stole it away with a minute to go. And have a look at this. Dudula, the replacement scrum half, with a kick through, and eventually comes off the feet there of the other player. And it is that man, Tokoza Makaza, who eventually shows the cleanest pair of heels to dot down for the final try of this match. Oh, and there's been all sorts of words exchanged on the park here. We know how important this game is, and it is the UCT IKEYS Tigers, with just the conversion to go, who are in a genuinely unassailable position here.
Yeah, and just a pair of cool heads were needed from D'Urberville. Someone diving over a whole ruck right in front of the referee was a let down or let go, basically for IKEYS to take a full advantage. And obviously the replacement to Dudula, absolutely sharp, tap and go, and actually realized that, listen, I might be caught, but let me put it on the foot. I've got some speedsters on the outside. Does he convert his own try?
No, it is short. It is short, but it almost won't matter. Because the IKEYS Tigers are 23-15 winners on the day. It is the final round of hostilities in the group phase of the Western Province Super League. And today's win will catapult the men from UCT, who started the day in second position, right onto the top of the table. And you can see what it means to the players. You can see what it means to the support staff. What a terrific finish here. They led for most of this game. Then That lead was wrestled away by DURBELL, who came back doggedly at the start of the second half. They reclaimed the lead. And then the IKEYS Tigers with 2 late scores here to eventually take it away from the home team. What a game we've seen.
What a game, and what a game to be able to call. It's very difficult to have called the winner so far because it changed hands so many times, and obviously looking at that coach as well, elated in that process. Remember, they were out and about, really about to lose this game, and DURBELL really let it go, and they believed in their endeavor. Remember, we were asking them, take three and come back, and basically Josh and I think Harry is the coach as well, really stuck to their guns and listen, we can get more, keep on punching, but ill discipline from DURBELL also was their Achilles heel, because these youngsters, they were brave. They wanted to make sure they've got this game. There's no way these Madalas can out sprint us, and absolutely they just show their superiority in terms of what you call a fitness, because that's exactly what got them going at this point in time. Yeah, well on to them. Unlucky to DURBELL was unable to wrap and put this one in the cooler box, and it just left with the fingers, to be honest. Came back in the second half very beautifully. I was very convinced that they will actually wrap this one up, but the student proved otherwise.
Let me remind you of the significance of today's win, of course. Top 2 teams will have a bye as we go into the playoff rounds, with Team 3 playing 6, 4 playing 5 for a spot in the semi-final. So a crucial result here today for the men in the white and blue. Crucial victory here for the IKEYS Tigers, because for the moment they are sitting right at the top of the table. Let's head down now to the venue.
It is indeed a game of 2 halves. Leading in the first half by 8 points, one would have thought that would run away with it in the second half. It is a game of 2 halves. The home side were valiant in an effort to try and secure this game, but the visitors, IKEYS, just held on to their mantra and they just kept it going. They kept it flowing like the water. But to chat more about the game, I'm joined by the UCT captain, Mika Schubert, to share his thoughts of the game. What are your thoughts of the game?
It was a massive, I think it was a titanic battle, really. I think we always knew it was going to be tough to come out here. DURBELL away, it's sometimes feared by other teams, but we knew as a team we couldn't have an ounce of fear in our bodies, and we showed that in the second half. I think it was a really massive performance to come back 4 points behind, scored 2 tries at the end, and respect to DURBELL for holding up there. They were massive respect for the challenge they put up, but I think our IKEYS boys, the students, took the win today.
Your humility saves the day once again, ladies and folks. But now, the conditions today were very wet underfoot, but the skills they showed it today were flamboyant. This week,
we knew that we wanted to bring back the IKEYS way of playing, and we brought that theme into our training and into our match day, and we're very proud that we like to move the ball running rugby, and we knew it was going to be tough to go pound for pound with DURBELL through the guts, so we knew we had to bring a different type of game plan, and I'm hugely proud of my boys today because we really pulled one out the bag there.
Just one more question before I let you go. What are the plans for the knockouts?
We see who we face and then we prepare then, because I think each team in this league, that's what makes the league so tough. Each team in this league really presents different challenges, and I think I think we'll just see who we face and then we'll take it from there.
I'm sure the fans at home that are watching want to know, in conditions like this, apart from rugby, what else do you enjoy doing besides Brande Bay in that place?
Well, I was going to say they've got a great special here, but I think we're just going to enjoy the win with our supporters. Stick together as a team. Obviously, we'll do a bit of posties with the opposition. That's the rugby grants that respect, and then we'll see where the night takes us then.
There you have it, ladies and folks. That's the UCT captain, Mika Schubert, the victorious captain today. Congratulations to UCT, and onwards to the next one. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks very much. Shot, my bro. Also call me Monovis.
Oh, Monoi. Got you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers, sir.
Okay, Andrew.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Just
Anu, nice to meet you.
okay, just calm me down. Arno Stoffberg, yes?
Just with your friends, it's really okay.
On the key.
Can we stop a little bit? Yeah, thank you. Okay, set.
And I'm joined right now by the losing captain, the valiant captain of the home team at DURBELL, Arno Stoffberg, just to share his thoughts after a valiant first half performance and coming back in the second half, almost clinching it, and they let it go in the second half. What are your thoughts of the game?
We know it's going to be tough against UCT. That's why we're both top of the log, so we knew it's going to be physical, it's going to be hard. We actually knew that we had to play rugby for 100 minutes, and we failed with that. I think we played well, especially in the second half. The first 20, we came out guns blazing, and unfortunately it wasn't good enough at the end of the day. UCT is well coached, well conditioned, and that's why they scored 2 tries in the last 6 minutes to clinch the game and the victory.
Yeah, one has to give credit to the home side right now after being under a deficit of 8 points in the first half and coming back in the second half. And you gentlemen had to just get your guns blazing and get the engine revving and almost securing that victory. But now, this loss, does it do any damage for the Knockouts?
No, it doesn't. It would be great to finish first, but with the Super A, the first 2 sides go through. The 3 to number 6 play quarterfinals, so it gives us another week, another extra game. Depending on what the other sides did, we'll see the results of the game, and then we'll prepare for the quarters, semis, and the finals.
And just before I let the home side captain go, one more question. Where to from here?
Hopefully we can come back next week. We don't know who's playing yet, but by the end of tonight, tomorrow morning, we will know, and we're just going to do our homework. I'm lucky we've played everyone now. This is the last league game, so we have a bit of tricks up our sleeve for all the opponents that are still to face now in the playoffs. So we'll do our homework, and we'll get back to the drawing board Monday.
Thank you very much from the home side captain from DURBELL, Arno Stoffberg, joining us here after the game, after a valiant effort from the lads. They almost had it in the end, but unfortunately let it slip like a bar of soap. But don't go anywhere. Question Club Rugby lives on.
One thing's for sure, DURBELL not down and out. They still have a chance to get themselves back in the final, as they did a season ago when they lost to the defending champions Falls Bay. So now it's an agonizing wait until Wednesday to see what Marties do against UWC, and then for the likes of Marties, Millies, Hamiltons, they will keep one eye on that game as well to see if they will finish in a playoff position. But a fantastic bit of action today, Lawrence Apaka.
Absolutely unpredictable, like the rugby ball itself. A game you could have never have called. I mean, we had advantages before, but certainly the guys, we probably had the advantage because of the conditions, certainly came up short today, and the students really showed some resilience, some energy, some power, and some patience eventually came through.
And they can pose for the pictures now, because they were 23-15 victors here over the home side DURBELL to rocket up to the top of the table of the Western Province Super League and put themselves in pole position for that final when eventually the playoffs are done and dusted. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back sooner than you think.
Okay.